All right, boys and girls, welcome to the DFS experience for week 6 of your NFL season. This is going to be our lineup builder video. I know these NFL videos it's hard to cover everything in such a short amount of time. I know all the videos you guys have been watching are at least 30 minutes long. So what I'm not trying to do is make a 30-minute video. I'm going to try to narrow this down to my best plays as fast as possible. This video is brought to you by our friends over at Thrive Fantasy, the player prop website where you can play against the house or play against other players in contest format. You got Joe Burrow, 248.5 passing yards. If you choose over, you get 95 points. If you choose under, you get 105 points. You got Calvin Ridley, 62.5 total receiving yards. If you choose over, you get 100 points. If you choose under, you get 100 points. You can use my promo code DFS Chapo, or you can use the link that's in my description. We're going to run over to DraftKings real quick. Now, obviously, there's two things going on in these videos. One, I try to give you guys my player pool with the information that we all have at this point. And second, I try to start to build a lineup, especially for those of you that aren't quite familiar with NFL DFS or are having trouble. We're going to start with quarterback like we always do. Jalen Hurts against the Jets. Jets have a respectable defense. However, Jalen Hurts, is player proof. Although you can run Jalen Hurts naked, we all know that. I would want to pair him with one of his receivers, Goddard, Brown, Smith, whatever your lineup allows. Tua, I like Tua every slate. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like my Miami stack even more with Achan out, because now Mostert is gonna get a few more touches. He should get a few more touches. Obviously, we've been watching Achan take away from Mostert. Mostert's still putting up his numbers. Still an amazing fantasy producer, but Achan is taking away his touchdowns, his touches, all that. That we've been seeing that. So with no Achan in the mix, Mostert looks even better. Fired him up against Carolina. What I'm hoping for is a shootout. You want to do Tua. You want to stack him with his weapons. Then you want to bring it back with me. Preferably, I like Thielen. He's more consistent, but it's what your lineup allows. So I will be having a Miami stack, Miami Carolina stack in one of my main lineups. I'm liking Fields against Minnesota. Hoping somebody from the Minnesota side steps up for Jefferson and we get a little bit of a shootout, so we can really get to see Fields in action. That's what I'm looking for. So I don't mind a Chicago stack, bringing it back with a Minnesota weapon. Cousins, I don't even mind playing Cousins. I don't know how many lineups I'm going to be playing. I don't mind playing Cousins. He's absolutely in the player pool. Lawrence is fine against Indiana. I like that game also. Now, what you got to understand is that obviously sports is against matchups, but you want to be playing players that have advantages in their matchups or in good matchups. You don't want to play quarterbacks against good rush defenses and pass defenses and shit like that. You're looking for the upper hand. That's what you're looking for. I don't see any quarterback in a severe disadvantage so far. So everybody's pretty much on the table as far as the top guys. Goff against Tampa Bay. Detroit's been a good team this year. Burrow against Seattle. He looks like he's in a great spot. He should replicate what he did last week. I've been scared of Burrow all season because of his health. But 46 attempts, 36 completions, 317 yards. That's something I would like to get behind. Burrow's going to be popular. People, game log a lot, so he is going to be popular. But if you're playing single entry or something like that, you know what? Burrow should be fine in any format. He should be fine. And obviously, you're going to pair him with his guy Chase, if that's what your lineup allows. Stafford, you could always stack Stafford He has two demons as wide receivers. And he still has Atwell. Atwell's not getting any love lately, but he still has two top tier receivers, and he has Atwell, and he has his tight end. So Stafford's always on the table. He may not be as talented as the other quarterbacks, but he's priced for what he is, so he's fine. Stroud is always in play. Purdy's in play. Cleveland's going to be a little bit tough, but Purdy has his weapons. We've seen what Purdy's been doing. Nothing sexy about Purdy. He just gets the job done. He's not going to throw a lot. You see him throwing in his 20s, 29, 25, 37 attempts, 21, 24. But if you look at his fantasy points, he's producing 26 fantasy points last game, 21 fantasy points last game, 23 the game before that at 5,600. That's fine. So players are priced for their ceiling. Do I need Howell or Mayfield or Carr? I don't think so. Dobbs, if you want to take a shot. Bryce Young, if you want to live life on the edge. To me, Riddler is trash, but that's just my opinion. The games that I've seen of Riddler, he doesn't look too spectacular. Riddler's so trash, it doesn't even want to let me load him up. What the fuck is happening? What's happening here? All right. 37 attempts, 31 attempts, 38 attempts, 115 yards passing, 237 yards passing, 201 yards passing, 191 yards passing. I mean, as you can see, he has a ceiling. He has one game with 29 fantasy points, another game with 22, but then he has games with 8 fantasy points, 7 fantasy points, and 9 fantasy points. So maybe I've seen him, play his bad games, but I'm not going to be playing a quarterback with a floor of 8 fantasy points, 7 fantasy points. I'm not doing that. There's so many decent quarterbacks on this slate for you to not have to dumpster dive. And if you want to play somebody if you want to play a value quarterback, just go to Minshew. He's going to be starting for Indianapolis. When he did get in the game, 14 attempts, 11 completions, 155 yards. That's respectable. But we already know what Minshew does. We know who Minshew is. If you're going to pay down for a quarterback, you pay down for Minshew. You pair him with his weapons. I'd pair him with Taylor and Pittman. That's me personally. I'm not trying to be cute. And by paying down for Minshew, now you have salary at your other spots where you can spend up. You feel me? As far as quarterbacks go, I'm not going anything under Minshew. Don't need to. I'm not playing that many lineups, so I don't need to be that cute. Running backs, McCaffrey, self-explanatory. There's never any need to talk about McCaffrey. The best fantasy running back in the game, in the sport. We all know that. Montgomery, you fire him up. Robinson is fine. Etienne is fine. Jacobs is fine. Kamara, I like Kamara on this slate. Kenneth Walker's fine. Jonathan Taylor, I like him this week. They say that he should be getting more touch. He should be his work should be getting ramped up. That's what they said. Kyron Williams gets a lot of touches. We know that. Most start. One of my favorite players on the slate. Self-explanatory. He's in a good spot, and he's without a Chan, so that should mean a heavier workload. Mixon is fine. I like Mixon in this spot against Seattle. Zach Moss, I would pick one of Moss or Taylor, or whoever we think is going to go off. Last week, everybody played Taylor. Moss went off. Maybe we play Taylor this week. Moss goes off again. You never know. Maybe play one lineup with Moss, one lineup with Taylor. Swift, I like Swift in this spot against the Jets. And I wouldn't mind pairing him with Hurts. 2 targets, 3 targets, 2 targets, 4 targets, 6 targets in this last game. That's why I wouldn't mind pairing him with his quarterback because his targets are ramping up. Bryce Hall absolutely in play. I know Philly's a tough defense, but Bryce Hall is he's different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind playing Bryce Hall in one of my lineups. Robinson Jr. against Atlanta. If you want to take a shot, you can. I like Madison in the spot against Chicago. I'm looking for a shootout. Definitely will have Madison in one of my Minnesota Chicago stacks. As of now, I think that's about it for my running back player pool until more value opens up. I'm not really going to be forcing the issue. I'm going to play what I know. I'm going to play who I know is going to get a lot of touches and give me the best opportunities. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, Kupp, Chase, Adams, Nakua, Brown. Self-explanatory. There's no need for me to pitch those guys to you. Waddle, you could take a shot. I'm feeling that he's gonna have a breakout game. Maybe this one coming up. I like Waddle. Maybe play some lineups with Waddle. Maybe play some lineups with Hill. Maybe play one lineup with both. I was trying to build a lineup with both. I'm gonna need a bit more value, but you can absolutely do it. Fire up Waddle. Evans is always in play. Devonta Smith, you could take a shot. Godwin, Metcalf, Ridley, all in play. Olave is fine. I like more on this slate. Higgins, if he's healthy, you could take a shot. Let's see what's going on with Higgins. Higgins is his ribs. All right, well, if he's able to play, you can fire up Higgins in your Cincinnati stacks. I'm high on Pittman I'm high on Pittman for this slate. Ayuk, I think, always gets overlooked. I'm going to try to force him into some lineups. Maybe a Brock Purdy lineup. Maybe just play him naked. Samuel is fine. Wilson, Thielen, these guys are all in play. Myers, if Myers plays and Adams doesn't, you fire up Adams. You fire up Myers. He's going to get his targets clear number 2 on Vegas, and he has a wrist issue. So let's just see what's going on with him. But like I said, if either one of them are out, you play the other one. Addison, you're gonna want to pay attention to what's going on with him. Ankle injury. If he's out, then that sucks. Because you'll have no Jefferson, no Addison. You'll just have Hawkinson and Osborne, and then the rest of them. So pay attention to Minnesota news, because that's where some of your value is going to come from. Lockett always in play. Nico Collins is in play. McLaurin, Kirk, Brown are in play. Atwell, tough. Kupp is back. Nakua is still doing what he's doing. It's going to be tough to play Atwell. Dell is in play. If he plays, Thomas is in play. Osborne, I spoke about briefly. Downs is in play. Lazard is fine. 3,700. You can play Lazard. He does get his targets from Wilson. 4, 4, 5, 3, 4. 6 fantasy points, 4 fantasy points, 6 fantasy points, 15 fantasy points, 6 fantasy points. At 3,700, the ceiling is there, but it's a pretty low floor also. It is the Jets and Zach Wilson, so you got to be careful with that. But like I said, value will open up later on, so we don't need to force the lower end wide receivers. Hawkinson looking better and better. Laporta, my guy, fire him up. Kittle, always in play. Goddard's in play. I'm feeling those Hurts and Goddard stacks, especially against the Jets. Fire him up. Komet, throw him in the field stack. Ingram is fine. Henry, I'm not playing anybody from New England. They're in shambles right now. Higbee, you can fire him up, but like I said, with Nakua and Cup, they're gonna take up a lot of targets. Be careful. Be careful with those um, Los Angeles pass catchers. Schultz. You could play Schultz. You can play Schultz. Ertz is fine. Pitts is scary. Logan Thomas is fine. 3,500. Jonu Smith, if he plays, you could fire him up. Wouldn't be playing Riddler, but you could definitely play Jonu Smith, no problem. Conklin, you could take a shot on if you need value. And I think I'll stop at Conklin, to be honest with you. Maybe Hayden Hurst in one of those Miami stacks. Noah Fant, Smythe, Granson. You want to pair him with Minshew. Like, these guys are all in play. And the reason I mention them is if you need value, and there's no other value at your disposal. Nobody starts to build lineups looking to play lower end tight ends, but these guys are fine for their price points. If that's what you're left with, you feel me? Defenses, you really can't call it defense. The Raiders against New England, I did mention they're in shambles. Maybe the Eagles. Zach Wilson is. We don't really know exactly what Zach Wilson is. I mean, we all think he's trash. He does show signs. He could get completely overwhelmed in this game, but we definitely know the Raiders are gonna. New England's gonna shoot themselves, so that's the thing with the Raiders. Any defense that stands out? No, not really. Yeah, pretty much the top two defenses look the most appealing. You could throw the Eagles in there, but you know, I'm not going to be building a lineup around my defense. I'll pick my defense with whatever I have left. So let's just build a lineup and let's get out of here. And let's go to FanDuel. I think I talked myself into a Gardner Minshew stack because of the fact that it's going to allow me to pay up in other spots. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go Minshew. We're going to pair him with we're going to pair him up with Taylor. We're going to pair those guys with, who the fuck are you? Pittman. And then we're going to run it back with Ridley. That's what we're going to do. So you got Minshew. You got, actually, let's not do this. Because I have a Indianapolis stack on FanDuel, so I'm going to give you something different. Just make sure you like this video for me and subscribe if you're not subscribed. That's all I need from you. Let's do another stack. Let's do this. Burrow does look mighty appealing against. We're going back to Stafford. Fuck it. We're gonna do Stafford. We're gonna do Cup. Arizona. We're gonna do Naki was pretty pricey. Let's do Stafford. Let's do Cup. Let's do Hollywood Brown. And then what we can do is let's do this. Let's do a running back. Let's get a running back in here. Let's try to get somebody mid-range. Let's do Madison. 5,600. Yeah, let's do Madison against Chicago. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're doing on DraftKings. We're not gonna do quite a double stack because of the prices of. I mean, we could always do Higby. We could always do Higby. All right, let's do Higby. So let's go Stafford with Cup and Higby, and then we'll run it back with Hollywood Brown. So that's your double stack and your bring back. That way, this game gets in a little bit of a shootout. You have players in place to boost up your fantasy points. Now, if we get some out of this world value, you can absolutely play Stafford, Cup, and Nakua. I'm sure I could build a lineup with Stafford, Cup, and Nakua, but I don't want to look like a dickhead. Making this lineup too hard for you guys to finish up. So let's just do it Higby. Let's do Hollywood Brown. Let's keep it balanced, and you guys could build a respectable lineup from what I started. All right, with all that being said, if you're new here, thank you for watching. Absolutely appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up. All that is absolutely crucial in us continuing to build this channel. If you're struggling, you're not cashing, I can help you. I could build you your own lineup, so I can send you my finalized optimal lineups right before the game starts. To check out the Patreon, linked in the description. All right, so like I said, I already have built an Indianapolis lineup. That's why I changed the DraftKings lineup, so I can give you guys a little bit of variety. Minshew at 65, Taylor at 65, Pittman at 65. That leaves you a lot of money to fill the rest of these spots. I'm running this back with Ridley, and like I said, if these guys go off, I'm gonna have studs at every other spot, and that should be a winner. So that's all I got for you. I'm gonna go on and get out of here. Any questions? Any thoughts? You can throw it in the chat. 22 minutes this video is, so at least I kept it under 30 minutes. Absolutely appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Good luck to you, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Ciao.